The season finale of Stranger Things has just dropped. Nay, the series finale of Stranger Things has dropped. I've seen it, and is what's been regarded as probably the worst season of the show to date. Did it manage to stick the landing and send the audience home happy? Well, let's find out. This is where I put my intro music, but I'll just be honest with you. No, not really. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yes, oh boy, I've seen the finale of Stranger Things and it's all over now. It's all over. And if you don't know, because you're kind of new and you're probably somebody that's just like, I need to hear everybody talk about the Stranger things. Well, I'm not a massive fan of the show, period. I thought the first season was really good. I love the first season, in fact. But I don't think there's actually been a great season or a good season since. Season 2 was very bad, I thought. Season 3 wasn't that great. Season 4, which a lot of people say was more of a return to form, again, didn't quite grab me. And I managed to last 16 and a half minutes, because I checked on my Netflix account, of the first episode of season 5 before I was already checked out of that. Now, that's not to say that there aren't good elements that are scattered throughout those series, because there are. There are scenes that I like. There are moments that I like. There are character interactions that I like throughout that period. But as an overall, it isn't gripping me the way that I think the media, or at least the social media buzz around the show, would tend to be. And that's not to say that that is fake, because it's not, because the numbers that people tune in to watch this show are astronomically high. I think second only to Squid Game. So there is a massive audience for this show. But with that said, is it going to be, or have that cultural lastability that other shows have had? I'm going to say no. I don't think so. I think this is a show that will fade sooner rather than later out of the public zeitgeist. And maybe Netflix will try and bring it back with a Netflix movie or spin-off TV show. And it looks like they're trying to do that with Holly. They're trying to set her up as potentially the lead of a new spin-off show. I don't see that taking off on a personal level. However, one thing that I found was very interesting about the finale from the get-go was, as I've already mentioned, I have only managed to last 16 and a half minutes into episode 1 of season 5, and I was already checked out. It was such an annoying 16 and a half minutes. I remember it more clearly than a lot of the other stuff. Robin being hideous as the radio presenter, Steve being cucked again, because they haven't done anything good with Steve since season 1, really, apart from his relationship with Dustin, which is the best relationship in the whole show, but that's by the by a country mile. I want to say that as well. Through to the Elle training montage. I was done. And yet, tuning in to the finale, episode 8. So, in essence, I haven't seen 7 of the episodes leading in. But of course, everybody's seen Will's gay. Everybody, the whole world, even my dead grandma and granddad got out their coffins because everyone's talking about it, then got back in again once they realized it was a complete and utter nothing. But I was so surprised at the fact that I didn't feel like I'd missed anything, like barely anything. And in actual fact, if this episode had followed the season finale of season 4, then I would have only had a couple of questions, been like, where did Vecna get the children from? And why is that black military guy now Sarah Connor? And that would pretty much be it. Everything else almost seemed to seamlessly slot in to where season 4 ended. And I think that's actually one of the problems that a lot of people have had with season 5. And that's the fact that pretty much every episode has just felt like filler. It hasn't really done anything, advanced anything. And probably one of the reasons why I felt the need to dip. So let's get into what actually happened. So of course there's going to be spoilers, but if you want to just, before we go into that, I'll just give my overall views of the episode. It's not the worst finale by any stretch of the imagination. There's been plenty of worse finales. Game of Thrones, I think you'd be hard pushed to find a worse series finale than Game of Thrones. Dexter, that was absolutely god awful. There's been a lot. I didn't find the episode obnoxious. I just didn't find it interesting enough, and I didn't find it satisfactory enough. And every character was just molded by plot armor to a laughable degree that you never felt in any capacity that any of the characters were in any danger. And in fact, the only time that any of the characters you felt were in danger is when the character specifically needed to put themselves in danger because nothing was happening. But we'll get to that in the spoiler section because that refers specifically to one character and that's it. But because of this plot armor and the convenience, because I was going through this 2-hour series finale where there's only an hour of story, by the way, and then the second hour is literally wrapping up. They complete everything that they need to do in the first hour. And then the second hour is like a Lord of the Rings epilogue, but shit. Because the Lord of the Rings epilogue is fantastic. But this went on for even longer and was not great at all. But in this hour, the plot armor was so laughable that you couldn't care. And that was the problem. I couldn't be invested because the show was doing so many things that I was just saying, oh, well, that's a coincidence. Oh, well, that's a coincidence. Oh, well, that's a coincidence. Because any time something of any stakes happened, then a convenience, a contrivance would immediately come in and nullify it. As if it was like a wrestling event almost, where the bad guy has got the good guy, the heel and the babyface, in a predicament he surely can't get out of. Oh, and then the music hits, and then returning hero comes in to save the day. All that kind of stuff. It just felt as scripted as that was. And again, it led to the fact that it felt like there were no stakes and it felt like there was no threat. And in a show that's dealing with other worlds and portal realms and upside downs and wormholes and whatever, you need some threat there with demigorgons and demon dogs and demon bats and all of that kind of stuff. You need some threat. But by the way, there wasn't a single demigorgon, demon dog, or bat in this episode. In actual fact, all the other creatures had vanished. Because I guess if those were in there, then it would have actually caused some trouble and they needed to just go through their lines. And another thing was the pace was so sluggish that even in this finale where they're trying to get to Vecna, defeat Vecna before he can activate the Mind Flayer to bring the world crashing down on Earth. Oh my goodness me. All these like seemingly massive things at stake. every couple of minutes or so, our intrepid heroes managed to find themselves in a situation where they could stop and chat. So I know we're just walking over to the Mind Flayer's body over there before Vecna tries to activate it, but I just want to know, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Is there anything you want to... No, please, no, don't. Anyway. So ultimately, because it wrapped up in half an episode, and then we had half an episode of Epilogue, the epilogue itself dragged. It was way too long, way too unnecessary, hilarious in a couple of places, which I'll get to in the spoiler section. But ultimately, again, when the credits rolled, was I going, oh, well, that's an end of an era. That's a shame. That's sad. Gonna miss that. Not in the slightest. When the credits rolled, it was kind of like, thank God for that. And then it was sort of, okay, well, I'm over it. It maybe because it didn't have that sort of impact on myself, but I think after a lot of people kind of just digest this, I think they're going to feel the same way. So, with that said, and I'm looking at Netflix now because I've got to remind myself of half the stuff that happened here because it wasn't the most scintillating of shows. Let's get into the spoiler section. Let's get into what actually happened in the episode itself. Just had to quickly check that I hadn't muted myself. So it begins with 11 getting into the Bacta tank so that her 8, why they brought that character back, God knows. Oh, well, I do know. And the spoiler alert, because we are in the spoilers, but they brought her back because they needed to kill somebody off because they weren't going to kill anyone else. Until 11 decides to off herself, but did she? But didn't she? Whatever. So they needed at least somebody to kill off. So she goes into the Bacta tank because her 8 and Max, got to get my names right here, they need to go to Vecna's world to take on Vecna and defeat Vecna, right? Stay with me on this because there's a lot of different worlds, different places, what's going on. So Hopper's going to stand guard, and he's got like a couple of knocks as cues to watch. You know, if I knock twice, you need to engage quickly with Vecna. If I knock 3 times, you need to GTFO, stuff like that. And so she gets into the tank. The military apparently militaring. What exactly they have done, I don't really know. Max is at the radio station, I think. No, the hospital or whatever. She's somewhere with Robin's girlfriend, because everyone's gay now, of course. Because since 2016 and 2025, there seems to be some sort of massive cultural shift. And a show that started out as 4 young boys and 11 is now going to end girl bosses galore and the main cast essentially having nothing to do whatsoever. In actual fact, there's a bit of a funny part later on where after they've defeated Vecna and the Mind Flayer, the camera pans to Joyce. And I had no idea that Joyce was even there because I don't think Joyce had said a single word the whole episode or even had any camera put on her in the whole episode. And I was just like, what? What's Joyce? Where did Joyce come from? Anyway, that's just by the by. So they all start going into their warging modes. The rest of the crew, the motley crew, are going to the top of the antenna because they're looking out for the I guess the world to come down on top of them, which it starts to do. It gets closer and closer and eventually hits the top of the antenna, and Steve falls off to his death, and it fades to black. And then it immediately comes back and Jonathan's grabbed Steve and Steve's absolutely fine. Because everybody has plot armor and nobody's going to die until one of the characters decides to kill themselves. So they cut their way through into the wormhole, which separates from the upside down, which is where the mind flayer's chilling out. Because those spider legs, it looks like a dead spider on its back, like dead spiders do. Well, yeah, that's the mind flayer on its back, I guess, chilling out. Nancy is the most annoying piece of stupid shit bent character, which does my head in, because she was great. She was a great character, particularly in the earlier seasons. And now she's just this obnoxious, hideous girl boss that's 45 fucking pounds in weight, while all the male characters like Steve and Jonathan are just subservient cucks. Anyway. 11 and her crew turn up at Henry's house to show the children that Henry is actually a bad guy and they're the good guys, which they do. I can skim through this because it's not relevant in this. I mean, I say it's not relevant. It's not really pertinent. Nobody really gives a shit. Will has a conversation with Mike. I'm going to guess he's just saying I'm still gay or something. But I was really concerned that during the course of the week, Noah, whatever he's called, who plays Will, said that, Will and Mike's story isn't over. And I was like, dear God, if he kisses Mike and Mike goes, yeah, do you know what? I've decided I love cock this week as well. I'm going to be done with it. I really am going to be done with it. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Mike's still into minge. So they're just casually walking in this wormhole world, not seemingly giving a shit, and managing to stop off to have conversations. And there's a conversation between Steve and Jonathan. And Jonathan's like, well, Steve's like, thank you for saving me. And Jonathan's like, well, I still think you're a dick. And then he tells Steve that him and Nancy have broken up because Nancy's a strong, and they say independent woman as well. Because Nancy's a strong, independent woman. And Steve, I know she wasn't with Steve at the time, but Steve wants to have children, and 6 children. So we've got the woman being the strong, independent one that wants to do her own thing, and we've got the guys wanting to settle down with kids, and I guess stay at home and be stay-at-home dads. Or it's so fucking cock-handed nowadays. Henry goes back into the upside down, I think, because we're all over the place, to play silly beggars with Hopper's mind, which is a good scene, actually, because even though David Harbour is a bit of a fucking Fruit Loop, he's a great actor. I do think he's a very good actor indeed. Take Thunderbolts out of that equation. But in everything else, like, he's really good in The Equalizer. If you haven't seen him in The Equalizer, he was really good. He was really good in A Quantum of Solace. He's been good in the stuff that I've seen him in, apart from Thunderbolts, which was terrible. And Red Guardian is terrible. But it's a really good scene where Henry does actually trick Hopper to shoot the Bacta tank and seemingly kill 11, which he doesn't, but he's banging on the tank to pull, because it's all a mind trick. And what it was so that Henry would, that Hopper would bang on the Bacta tank and make 11 click out of the world, so that Henry could just go after the children. Because they decided to run the children to the cave that Henry won't go into. Once they realize he's the bad poopy guy, they all ran away with the children to go to the cave. So that's now pulled out Max, 8, and 11 from being able to help the children. Their children are now on their own. So Holly takes charge of them, and they manage to get to the cave. And apparently Henry Vecna doesn't have the strength to drag a girl with one of his arm tentacles back when a 9-year-old boy's pulling her. The 9-year-old boy apparently has got greater strength. Great writing. Awesome stuff. Particularly coming straight off that good scene, which was a good scene with Hopper being tricked. So now the military are just driving around, I guess, and doing stuff and things. And Henry goes after the girls. Like I said, they managed to get to the cave safely. So Henry's like, I gotta go in this cave. This cave that the Mind Flayer is essentially making me not go into. Don't go in the cave. You'll learn the truth of what really happened to you. So he decides to brave it and go into the cave. There's a rogue military group of people that have broken off from the rest of the military, and they're hunting down Hopper and 8 and 11 and other people with numbers. And they capture them. And they've got these suppressors, which are stopping them from using their powers. I can't remember what his name is. The Jewish guy throws a bomb at their helicopter, which destroys the helicopter, destroys the suppressors, not before 8 is shot and killed, seemingly killed. But it allows 11 to get her focus on her powers, and she snaps all of their necks. And then she gets the guy who shot 8, killed 8, to shoot himself. Boom, all over. And by 8, somebody died. Unfortunately, nobody that we gave a shit about. So moving on. And yes, I have to keep referencing back to Netflix because I really don't know. So Holly realizes that Henry's gone into the cave. She tells the other children to run ahead because Holly's now girl boss number 68,000 in this show. To go behind girl boss Sarah Connor. To go behind girl boss Max. To go behind girl boss 8. To go behind girl boss 11. To go behind girl boss Nancy. To go behind girl boss Robert. It's just fucking obnoxious. It really is. And Henry sees himself as a Boy Scout and as a research guy clutching a chest, a suitcase, a case. And he's like, stay back. And he shoots Henry in the hand. And then Henry gets a stone and beats him to seemingly death with the stone. He opens up the case. Inside, there's a stone that's kind of got grooves in it, and the grooves are glowing, and it's an evil poopy pants. He'll connect you to the Mind Flayer stone. He touches it. He hears the Mind Flayer say, "Come find me." And then the guy who was dead is suddenly not dead anymore because he says, "No, you mustn't listen to it. It'll get into your mind. You have to resist." And then Henry just goes bung with his hand and explodes the guy's eyes, which was pretty good effect, I gotta say, and absolutely kills him. And then Will manages to use the power of homosexuality, which he gained last episode, to say, "I'm not afraid. Look, this is what the Mind Flayer did to you, Henry. He's evil. It's nasty. It's poopy pants. It's not gay. It's heterosexual. You need to resist and come to the power of gay." And he says, "Please join us to fight against the Mind Flayer." And then Henry, who's crying, having seen all this revelation, is having like a breakdown because of it, says, oh, no, I accepted the Mind Flayer. I wanted to. I was happy to do so. So why are you crying and looking horrified at what you've seen if what you've seen is actually what you wanted to do? What? Oh, it was for us, the audience, to try and do a bait and switch to think that Henry would join. But oh my God, no, he's actually true poopy pants, man. It's not good writing, folks. It's not good writing. It's stupid. So the big dead spider activates. Yes, the Mind Flayer comes to life because apparently the Mind Flayer and Vecna are scissoring. That's the only way I can describe it. They're mentally scissoring together. They're symbiotic in nature. And so they thrive off each other. It's a hive mind. So if one dies, they all die. But apparently it doesn't actually happen. Anyway, well, I mean, we'll never know because there weren't any demigorgons, demigod, demidoggies, anyway. So the Mind Flayer activates in front of the rest of the crew. Rambo, I can't even remember a bloody name, begins with N. Nancy. Rambo Nancy et al. And it's absolutely ginormous. The Mind Flayer is absolutely ginormous and starts chasing them. Humans like this. Mind Flayer with legs like this. Should we play a quick game? Were the humans with the tiny legs able to outrun the massive spider Cthulhu monster with 300-foot leg? The answer is yes. Yes, everybody was able to outrun the kaiju spider monster. So they all split up. Dustin says, let's all split up. We need to chip away at its HP. D&D reference. So they all start throwing their relative weapons. Nancy's got a big machine gun, which if she pulled the trigger in reality, she'd be fucking 70 meters down the road due to the kickback. But this is Rambo. I'm surprised she didn't just have a Browning in one hand, fucking filtering bullets going, you know. I think that was in one of the cuts, but they said it was not realistic enough for a strong, independent woman. So she's firing off the massive machine gun. She gave Mike a flare gun, which actually turned out to be the best weapon. So fuck you, Nancy. The others are throwing things. I think Lucas, who's maybe had one line in the whole episode so far, I think he was firing water balloons at it, but I'm not absolutely convinced on that, so don't quote me. And they're chipping away, fighting this Cthulhu monster, which could easily, like absolutely easily, just fucking annihilate them. But everyone's got plot armor because no one's allowed to die. 11 bursts out and jumps in and rips a hole in the Mind Flayer really easily so that she can go into a nice chamber designed for human beings inside the monster. Oh, well. To fight Vecna. It's a pretty underwhelming fight. And she eventually manages to push Vecna onto a spike, which kills him, which kills the Mind Flayer because they're scissoring. Yeah, I'm already bored. That's when it cuts to an image of Joyce, and I'm like, I didn't even know fucking Joyce was here. And then Joyce starts hacking the head off Vecna, saying, this is for everyone you've killed. And there's a flashback to all the people that have died in the show, including Eddie and including, what's her name from season 1? I can't remember. I don't give a shit. So that happens. And then they're all like, yay, we're great. We're awesome. And it's time to go. Then the military turn up and they go, hey, do you know what? we're actually going to arrest you, and have already just blown up. You know, they're in the process of blowing up the worm, the upside down, not the wormhole. God, I'm so confused. The place, someplace, but 11 doesn't go through the gap, the flesh wall gap. She's like, nah, I have to stare. I have to stare and die because I got the power. So she seemingly dies as the world blows up and it seals up the rift. So it goes back to normal. Everyone screams. There's still 45 minutes of the fucking show to go. So then they're all there, arrested by the military, and then it cuts to 18 months later. Now then, are they all incarcerated, locked up in secret facilities? No, they're just walking around Hawkins. And by the looks of it, they've been doing this probably the day after that the military arrested them. Even though they've murdered multiple military personnel. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The kids are all ready to graduate. It's now 1989 and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is playing at the cinema, and that film is absolutely fucking fantastic. So one good thing. Robin's being the horrible, obnoxious, gaunt as fuck, Ozempic, fucked out of her eyebrows zombie woman that she now is, with a voice that sounds like she smokes way too many cigarettes, packs of cigarettes a day. The kids are all getting ready for graduation. Dustin's the valedictorian. Did I get that right? We don't have these in the UK, so I'm just trying to remember. Will's still gay. Thank goodness for that. But Mike won't turn up because Mike is still missing Elle as if she just died the day before, which she just did. But nobody told him that there was an 18-month gap and you had to. Anyway, he's saying that he doesn't want to graduate because he feels as if life would be moving on and he doesn't want to move on because Elle's not there. Now, this is actually a decent scene, and Hopper's sent to find him by Joyce. And him and Hopper have this really good conversation. And it just kind of shows how massively elevated David Harbour's talent as an actor is above pretty much everyone else. Mike, I can't remember what the guy's called in real life. I know it's... I had it on the tip of my tongue there, and then I realized I didn't give a shit. But this is a good scene. I think Mike's... He might have a decent career ahead of him. I do think he's a good actor. This is going to sound a little bit like a diss, but I don't know. Keep with the lessons, though. You know, I think he really needs a good acting coach to kind of really smash away with that. But I think he's got a lot of potential. And they do have a good conversation, and David Harbour sort of talks him around to go to graduation. They graduate. Everyone goes whoop-de-doo. Everybody that you thought was dead is not dead because nobody died apart from 8. And 11 died, even though it's probably going to be revealed that she didn't die at all. And 8, believe it or not, wasn't dead when we thought she was dead, but she used the last bit of her power to zap 11 into an invisible while maintaining a projection hover that makes it look like she was standing there not wanting to go, while 11 then sneaked past all the military and decided to start a new life in the Outer Hebrides or some shit. Jesus wept. This is terrible. It cuts to Jonathan, Robin, Nancy, and Steve on a rooftop. Jonathan announces that he's also gay, and by that, he's now an anti-gay capitalist filmmaker on the Netflix show, which costs $480 million to make and is hidden behind a paywall of $20 a month. I fucking cannot stand champagne socialist twats. Steve is cucked by the women because Steve has no personality anymore. He's not allowed to. Nancy is a strong, independent woman and as obnoxious as ever. And I've got no idea why Robin's in the show because she's just a stupid twat. A little bit of happiness. Hopper proposes to Joyce. She says yes. They're going to get married. He's been offered a job as a full sheriff or something, or deputy sheriff somewhere else with a pay rise. Gary's told me that the place name that they mentioned is a place where like weird shit, conspiracy shit's meant to happen. So it could set up a really cool TV show with Hopper and Joyce kind of doing that eerie Indiana stuff. But so it's nice to actually get a little bit of that. We deserve a little bit of, I was going to say happiness, but I'll choose another word beginning with H, heterosexuality in the show, because God knows that's fucking missing all over the place. The kids sit down in the basement to have a D&D, one final D&D game where they win due to the help of summoning a witch at 11. And then Mike decides to go around the horn and tell them all how their lives are going to work out. Dustin's going to go into middle management. Max and Lucas Max is going to make Lucas a very good husband, and Lucas is going to be a very good wife to Max, because that's how that relationship dynamic works. And I'm not even joking here. Will's happy ending is he goes to a gay bar. Hey, did you know that Will's gay? And then that's where Mike tells the story of what happened with 11. At least that's the story that's in his mind. And then they all get called for tea. And as he's walking up for tea, all the children who were stolen by Vecna, who are now, hunky-dory, they come running down so they can play a game of Dungeons and Dragons. And as the show's just kind of saying, hey, this is the future. By the way, it's like 7 girls and 1 guy, 2 guys. Or 1 guy. I don't know. Like, hey, look, do you want these guys as a spin-off to the show? Fuck off. And then it ends. And that's it. And that's it. And I got to say, when it ended, I was like, thank fuck for that, because it was dragging like mad. Barb. It was Barb in season 1 that Dider did. Yeah, Barb got a fraction of notification, I guess. So ultimately, like I said, it wasn't obnoxious, and I wouldn't say it was like terrible. I'd say it was crap. It was dull. It was contrived. It was convenient. There were no stakes, even though you're fighting a bloody Cthulhu god. No stakes, too much plot armor, too much inane conversation, no character development. Right, I know it's the final episode, but it doesn't feel like there's been any development with characters. It feels like characters have regressed, particularly the main boys. Steve hasn't got anything to do. Jonathan's got nothing to do. The girls are running the show. Nancy, Max, Holly this season, for all intents and purposes, have all just run the show. And it's for what started as a really cool story about 4 friends, 4 male friends, and their weird female friend with powers, kind of got derailed by too many bland, uninteresting forgettable bloat of characters that took away from the focus, took away from the development of the boys, the true development of the boys. And I think the Duffer Brothers didn't know where on earth they were going with this. I really don't. Having now seen seasons 1 to 4 and episode 1 and episode 8 here of season 5, I don't think there was ultimately a plan, and they were just absolutely winging it. So nothing felt satisfactory. So there you go. There are my rather long-winded thoughts, spoiler and unspoiler, of Stranger Things' series finale. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do all that stuff, hit that subscribe, like, and comment down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Goodbye, Baloo Boo.